Yo, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to Froze Bets. The NFL divisional round is here, and I have my predictions for y'all, including my bets, my favorite player props, and just all my predictions in general, all in this one video. Now, guys, I do want to address the hiatus that I've been on because I kind of have been gone for a little bit from posting. And the reason for that is because I have been moving into a new place, and I think what I'm trying to do also is contemplate the direction of this channel, where I want it to go, how I want you guys to consume the content, what kind of content I want to make in general. And I think the direction I want to put this channel in is kind of just entertainment and information for you guys. I want to give more of my takes, more of my opinions on things in general, sports, events that happen, and kind of just be like a hub for my opinions, as well as like sports betting stuff. Like, obviously sports betting is the main focus of this channel, but I kind of want to branch off independently too, and just be like, sometimes it's not always going to be daily free picks, but it's also going to be like, oh, well, who do I think is going to win the MVP? You know, who do I think is going to win this division? And not have to bet on certain things, right? So kind of just changing the landscape of the channel in general. Obviously, I still want to do my daily free picks, and I want to get back into that grind. It's just been kind of hard to motivate myself to do daily free picks, when honestly, guys, I haven't really been betting as much as I have been, truthfully, especially on player prop picks. I mean, it's just been, to be honest with you guys, it's been kind of difficult to want to research and go through all the player props and analysis and all that stuff. It's just, it gets kind of tiring at a certain point. Not to say that it's not profitable or that I don't make money off of it, but it's just, it takes a lot out of you to do that research, especially when you have a lot of people that watch this channel work full-time jobs. So do I. So I just want to be transparent with you guys. That's why I've been gone. But rest assured, I do want this channel to continue, and I want to give you guys picks and predictions, but also I kind of want to tie more of my personal life into it and more of my opinions, and just be more present in the channel, if that makes sense, and less of a talking head, you know, spitting other people's opinions out, or, you know, copying other people's content. Not to say that I was, but obviously, you know, a lot of the same content gets regurgitated on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, you know, whatever you want to call it. And I think I just want it to be more authentic to myself. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have in terms of that, but I do want to get straight to the picks after that. I know I'm kind of rambling, but for the people that were concerned, or they're like, yo, where the fuck did Joe go? Here I am. I'm back. I'm making content, and I want to get back to it, into the grind for you boys. So let's get to 100 subscribers. I know we couldn't get to it at the end of 2024, but I think 2025 is going to be a massive year for the channel and for me in general. So I want you guys to be a part of the team. So let's do it. So guys, for the division round, we got 4 games, 2 in the AFC, 2 in the NFC, starting out on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 for all my boys here in the West Coast. Texans taking on the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Guys, honestly, I know a lot of people like to say, you know, Texans had a great game against the Chargers. They found something. You know, they really look like they have the momentum. Kansas City, you know, they've been resting for a couple weeks, and, you know, they might come out flat. But honestly, guys, like, who are we kidding here? The Chiefs are going to win this game. I don't really have to give you a prediction on that. You guys could just take the money line at -450. It's a decent bet. Parlay it up with something else. But honestly, I do want to take the -8.5 here for the Chiefs. I think just coming off, you know, what do they have, like 3 weeks of rest? All of their starters are veterans. Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, who had that injury. Patrick Mahomes even had an injury. Like, all these guys could benefit from that amount of rest, and there's a reason why they wanted that 1 seed, and they got it, and they rested all their guys. And a Chiefs team with all these amounts of rest, I mean, 3 weeks of rest. I mean, Andy Reid is what, like fucking 82-0 off of a bye. Like, I'm obviously exaggerating, but there's a reason why the Chiefs are doing as good as they are, and why they're favored by as much as they are. I mean, I would say, you know, +8.5 is a high line, especially for, you know, the Texans, who have a pretty decent offense. But guys, I mean, Nico Collins is the only person that I'm worried about on this offense, to be honest. Joe Mixon did have a great game against the Chargers. But we're talking about the Chargers here, guys. They chargered so hard last weekend. I mean, Justin Herbert, 3 interceptions. Like, are you kidding me? So, I mean, really, this spot, I'm taking -8.5 for the Chiefs. I'm taking the points, guys, at -108 on FanDuel here. Obviously, I won't be betting it on FanDuel because I'm in California, but you guys get the point. I'm taking -8.5 for the Chiefs. This is a pretty easy spot here, and yeah, this is an early game for a reason. Like, I'm probably not going to be watching this game, but if I had to take a bet, -8.5 for the Chiefs. Moving on to the Saturday night matchup between the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. A surprise matchup here. I thought, Minnesota had what it took against the Rams. I actually bet Vikings money line, but the Rams ended up winning. They were gonna play, I think it's the lowest seed possible, so I think that's why the Commanders are playing the Lions, because the Rams are the 6th seed. I'm not too sure how it works, but I know it's because the Commanders are a lower seed. So I think the Commanders here, obviously, love Jaden Daniels, love the season that he's had. My favorite rookie, honestly, that I've seen in the past 5-10 years. I mean, dude, this guy's insane. And he willed them back against the Bucks. I had Bucks money line. That didn't work out for me. It really hurt to see Jaden Daniels, just get that last first down and then them kick the fucking doink field goal to win it. With that being said, the Lions at -8.5. Obviously, Lions are favored at home in Detroit. But guys, I don't really want to bet on Lions money line. The line's a little bit too high as well, -8.5. I mean, guys, we've seen Jaden Daniels be close in all of these games. He always finds a way. He just has that clutch gene. So I really don't want to be on the point spread. I don't want to be on the money line because the money line's a little bit too high. What you could do if you want to is parlay up Chiefs and Lions money line, and get a little parlay here going. I don't know how much that would pay out. It's a -217. So if you put $100 on it, you'll only win 46. I mean, it's a decent bet if you guys want to, like a safety parlay, something that, that is going to hit this weekend on Saturday. If you want to make some easy money, you could do Chiefs, Lions, money line parlayed up. But I'm taking the -8.5 on the Chiefs, and I'm going to take the over on this game. The highest point total, I believe, in 10 years. I'm not sure what the statistic is, but a 55.5 point line for this game. I mean, guys, at -108, it's a great bet. It's a great bet. I think this game could be in the 30s for each of them. I think this point total could be in the 60s for either team. I mean, if we think about it, that Detroit Lions defense is banged up to all hell. I mean, honestly, it's a surprise how they've been playing so well. That their defensive coordinator, I think, is Aaron Glenn. I mean, dude's gonna be a head coach probably this offseason. I mean, I could see him being the Jags head coach or something. But anyway, I'm rambling. The defense is banged up. Commanders can score a lot of points. Jaden Daniels can keep his team in the game. I will say they just got David Montgomery back, the Lions. That's why I'm reluctant to pick, Commanders plus 390, because I'm not expecting them to win this game whatsoever. In fact, I think with the addition of David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go even crazier. And I think that's why I'm going to be taking the over on the point total. And also because this Commanders run defense is complete shit. I mean, they've given up, hundreds of yards. And just last week, against Tampa Bay, Bucky Irving went crazy. I mean, that's what I'm saying, guys. So I think for both offenses, it's going to be easy for them to score. Jared Goff can air down the field to Amon-Ra St. Brown if he wants. Jameson Williams could go catch a 97-yard streak pass. I just think there's too many opportunities and not enough defense here. So I think the 55.5 is a great bet for y'all. So 2 bets so far. That's the Saturday slate. Moving on into the Sunday slate, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Luckily, this one is at Lincoln Financial Stadium, whatever it's called, in Philadelphia, because if it was in LA, I mean, it would be very smoky. I don't think the players would want to play in LA. Obviously, the Rams did just beat the Vikings in Arizona. But this one, guys, I think a lot of people are expecting the Rams to keep this a lot closer than they think. In this spot, I'm liking the Eagles money line. It's a solid bet, -275. Don't overthink it. I mean, for a reason, it's at -275 for a reason, because the Rams do have potential. They have experience. They have playoff experience, more importantly. McVay and Stafford have both won a Super Bowl together not too long ago either. But I think this Philadelphia Eagles roster is just way too talented. And I think the thing is Jalen Hurts is coming off that concussion, but he's already played his bad game. He's going to lock in. He's going to play great against the Rams here. What I will say is that, obviously Saquon did run all over this team earlier in the year, but I think this Rams defense, obviously, if you want to take the points, +6.5 for the Rams, it's also a decent bet, but I think the money line is a better bet. but they're not going to let Saquon just run for 200 yards again. They're not going to let him just completely dominate them. They're going to force Jalen Hurts to pass it a little bit more. And I think that O-line is going to be able to handle this young Rams D-line that has been showing out. I mean, Jared Verse is looking like Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald Jr., if I'm being honest. Jared Verse is crazy. Rams defense is just loaded with young talent, and they've been doing great in these drafts. With that being said, I think it's just going to be too much. I think they're a couple years away. I think Cooper Kupp has got to go. I think, they're a little bit too centered on Puka Nacua and Kyra Williams if they had a little bit more depth on offense. And even just, they have a solid O-line, but I think, they just need to build up a little bit more in the trenches and a little bit more depth. I think Philadelphia is too much for them. Minus 275 bet here for the Eagles. Free money, to be honest, guys. I think this is a great bet. Finally, the last game, the Sunday Night Football matchup between the Bills and the Ravens. Now, this, guys, is going to be the game of the year. I'm telling you guys right now. As you can see, the lines reflect it. At home, the Buffalo Bills are not favored. The Ravens are favored by minus 1.5. I don't really understand why. I think it's because, obviously the Ravens did beat them. I think it was like a 25-point blowout win or something like that earlier in the year. I don't understand why they have money on the road, the Ravens. Obviously, they do play in cold weather. They're from Maryland. But I think Buffalo Bills in this spot, like, if you want to take the plus 100 on the money line, it's a great bet because you're going to get money. You're going to get plus money for putting down money on a home team. Bills, obviously, any home team automatically should get the 3 points, right? Especially, in the playoffs when you're a higher seed. I think the Bills plus 100 is a decent bet, but if you even want to do plus 1.5 for the Bills to cover by plus 1.5, it's a decent bet, guys. I mean, the Bills are a great team, especially in the playoffs, and I think Josh Allen is on a mission this year. I do have a bet going for Lamar to win MVP just because its stats are so ridiculously crazy. I mean, come on, guys. Like, he's literally having the best season of his career. And just last year, he won it. He didn't even... I think McCaffrey should have won it last year. But this year, he really should win it. But Josh Allen's just on a different time. He just beat the Chiefs. He got the monkey off his back this season. Obviously, they did lose to the Ravens. But this is a different Bills defense. And I think, Sean McDermott's coaching for his life, to be honest. I think if they lose this year to the Ravens, or if they lose to the Chiefs after they win this game, I think he's gone, to be honest. But I really just do think the Bills have, not the better roster, but I think they have the narrative down. And I think that's really what's important here. I don't want to say the NFL is scripted, but I think they have more on stakes, more on the line, I guess, this playoffs than the Ravens do. Not to say that they don't, because the Ravens also are kind of in a similar position to where they've been to these playoffs. They've played the Chiefs, they've played, the Bills, and now they're playing the Bills, and they just haven't been able to get over the hump. And last year, obviously, they did lose to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. The Zay Flowers fumble, the Isaiah Likely this year, the Isaiah Likely toe. It's just been it's the big moments that the Ravens always collapse, and I think the Bills this year, it's just their year to show why they've been relevant all these years, what the culture they've been building. It all leads up to this, and I think the Bills are going to win this game. Straight out. I think they're going to win this game, especially at home, especially in the cold weather, at their home stadium. It's one of the hardest stadiums to play for in the NFL, and I think it's going to be a classic. What I'm going to be taking is plus 1.5 for the Bills. I expect them to cover. I expect them to win this game. And honestly, they should be favored at home. For some reason, they're not. I think, the sharps think maybe the Ravens have an advantage. They can't stop Derrick Henry. But I think here it's a great matchup. It's going to be a great game. Getting into the player prop picks, I have 4 of my favorite ones from this weekend, just based on the narrative, based on how I think the game script is going to go, based on what I just predicted in the against the spread picks. So I think these are also some 4 great player prop picks to add to your parlay, or to just, bet on as straight bets. Or if you guys want to parlay all of them up on price picks here, you can do that too. That's probably what I will be doing. But just 4 great picks that I like. First of all, Nico Collins under on the receiving yards. Like I said, Chiefs defense has been elite. They've been elite all year. Nico Collins is their primary weapon, their primary receiver. And 80.5 is a high receiving yard line, especially when we're going against Trent McDuffie here. I mean, he's been an all-pro, I think he's a great, corner, and I think they're just going to be keyed in on Nico Collins. They're going to force Joe Mixon to run it down the rock straight into Chris Jones. And I don't think, CJ Stroud is going to be able to just force feed it to Nico Collins. I think they're going to be playing a lot of man defense, especially on Nico. And I don't think he's going to be able to get 80.5 receiving yards, guys. If you guys want to go under on the receptions too, anything under on Nico Collins, I love against the Chiefs, guys. So that's what I'm going to do for my first one. Next one on the Saturday night matchup, Jahmyr Gibbs over on his rushing and receiving yards. Everybody's so concerned about Jaden Daniels this, Amon-Ra St. Brown this. The real pick that I like for this game is Jahmyr Gibbs over his rushing and receiving yards. Everybody's going to expect David Montgomery to just come back and just, completely dominate everything. He just come back from injury, guys. He's going to take away attention from Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously the feature back in the system. The Commanders cannot stop the run. They cannot. They've given up so much rushing yards, so many rushing touchdowns, and I think that this is the great spot to be at for Gibbs, is over on his rushing and receiving yards, because he's also a great passing threat. So I think this is also just a great bet, Jahmyr Gibbs over rushing and receiving yards. You can do straight rushing yards if you want, but I think the rushing and receiving yards is also a great bet to be on, so that's what I'm doing here. Next up for the Sunday morning matchup, Sunday afternoon matchup between the Rams and Philly. I think it's a great spot to be on Matt Stafford's 225.5 passing yards at more, because I think obviously they're going to be down in this game against Eagles. Obviously they're going to be trying to come back against the Eagles. There is a possibility that, they are up to begin with in this game. They start out hot or something like that. I think that's a possibility as well. But Philly's going to be coming back. Philly's going to be down their throat. Philly's not going to go out without a fight. And if that's true, I think Matt Stafford's going to have to pass it. And just imagine Kyron Williams going against that Philadelphia Eagles D-line. I think they're going to shut him down. I think they're going to force Stafford to throw it, which Stafford's been great when he's been throwing the ball, especially when he's getting blitzed. They're going to try and blitz Stafford. I think he's going to be getting a lot of passing yards out. You can do Nakua as well over on his receiving yards, but I just like Stafford to go over on his passing yards. It's a low line. Oh, and they just bumped it down to 218.5. So if you guys can get it at 218.5, that's an even better bet, to be honest. And finally, our last one, against the Buffalo Bills, Lamar Jackson to get over 1.5 passing touchdowns. If I look at the popular bets here, I'm not choosing it because it's a popular bet, because I think it's actually going to happen. He's been money straight across the board, 2.8 average in the last 5, and it's been against pretty good competition. Pittsburgh, Houston, Pittsburgh again, pretty decent defenses. Cleveland doesn't have a complete pushover defense. They have a pretty elite player on their D line, and he's been money. And the Bills, it's not like the Bills have like a completely top 1, top 2 elite defense either. They're missing some guys as well. They're not at full strength, and I think Lamar's going to pass some touchdowns. He's going to pass 2 touchdowns or more in this game. And this is the picks that I like for player prop picks. Just a simple one. You guys can add these to a parlay. You guys can parlay them up on Prize Picks here, like I'm doing. Just gonna pop $10 on it to win 100. And yeah, boys, that's pretty much all I got for you in this video. NFL divisional round picks. Super excited to watch the games this weekend. And also, guys, this Monday we have another football game. Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in the national title game. Gonna have a video out pretty soon on that one as well, guys, so stay tuned for that. But if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And that's all I got for y'all, boys. We'll see you in the next one.